This is your Adventist News, a service of the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. I'm Tamika Fox. In this week's broadcast, families are encouraged to upgrade spiritually for mission, and youth are challenged to stand up during leadership training. These stories and more on this week's Adventist News. The Families in Mission Weekend Seminar began Friday, January 12th with a special service where all members of the family unit gathered at the Centerville Church in Nassau, Bahamas. The seminar was the first conference-wide event of the year and was pivotal in bringing all levels of the Family Ministries Department together. In their welcome address, Pastor Kenny and Darlene DeVoe, Family Ministries Directors of the South Bahamas Conference, reminded the members of the importance of the family in the church.
We believe that once we are drawn back to the altar in our homes, then we will experience that change within our family relationships.
Those present were encouraged to open their hearts to allow God to renew their minds and homes through the weekend seminars.
We invite each of you to empty yourselves of the past failures, disappointments, brokenness, whatever has been holding you bondage. And we invite the Holy Spirit to fill those empty spaces with renewed hope through the presentations that will be presented throughout this weekend.
The Family Ministries Director of the Atlantic Caribbean Union, ATCU, Pastor Terry Tanis, praised the seminar for its timeliness in our country, referencing Ellen White and her stance on the family.
If there was a time that we needed to recalibrate and strengthen the fabric of our society, it is now. And of course, I believe what Ellen White says, that society is composed of families and is what the heads of the family make it. Out of the heart are the issues of life, and the heart of the community, of the church, of the nation is the family.
His remarks echoed the nationwide concern about the increase in crime since the year began, and shared that this seminar was the pivotal attempt to address these issues. In his keynote address, the director of the Family Ministries Department of the General Conference, Dr. Willie Oliver, discussed the importance and significance of family worship and the need to rebuild family altars. He highlighted the protective factors of family worship and the importance of unity in the family.
Let the seasons of family worship be short and spirited. Let me tell you what family worship is not. It's not a time for discipline and using the Bible as a way of correction or reproof. It's not a lecture or a mandatory activity. It needs to be voluntary, but with incentives. How so? Make it fun so the kids want to come. And our kids are still calling home now, even now, when they have something important coming up in their lives, because train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it.
The seminar continued on Sabbath, where Dr. Oliver focused on the importance of commitment in a marriage. Oliver reminded the couples to uphold the sanctity of marriage, ensuring that the relationship continues and stay in alignment with God's purpose.
Marriage is sacred. It needs to be handled with prayer. Prayer that fills you with the Spirit of God so you can produce the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness. You can't be married, certainly not in Christian marriage, without being filled with the Spirit of God. Think before you speak. Allow the Spirit of God to influence your response. Imagine what the Seventh-day Adventist Church would be like if everyone in family ministries were in fact inspired to encourage their families to be families of mission.
Pastor Pedro and Cecilia Iglesias, leaders serving as the Family Ministries Directors of the Inter-American Division, delivered a profound message during the Sabbath morning and afternoon services. The heart of their presentation was the concept of updates, as they explored the biblical parallels found in Lamentations 3:22 and 23, where it states, "His compassions fail not, they're new every morning." As they drew inspiration from these scriptures, they brought light to the significance of daily updates in our lives, like the regular updates our electronic devices require.
¿Está actualizada tu vida hoy?
Is your life updated today?
¿Está actualizado tu matrimonio?
Is your marriage updated?
¿O tienes un matrimonio viejo,
Or do you have an old marriage
desactualizado?
that is not up to date?
Nos ponemos viejos nosotros,
We get old,
pero el matrimonio debe estar nuevo.
but the marriage must be new.
Cecilia Iglesias illustrated the similarities between neglected houses and aging family relationships, using the metaphor of a once modern house now plagued with dripping faucets and malfunctioning lights. She highlighted the need for intentional efforts to address and fix these issues.
Envejezca.
We cannot allow our family to get old.
Si falta algo, se arregla ahora.
If we row or if we missing anything, we fix it in that moment.
Porque de pronto
Because immediately
podemos estar viviendo
we can be living
en casas envejecidas
in old houses
que no nos satisfacen.
that will not satisfy us.
During the evening session, the couple delved into 3 pivotal points essential for married couples and individuals seeking marriage: intensity, attraction, and quality. The Iglesias also emphasized the positive impacts associated with these changes within relationships. Dr. Oliver concluded the transformative seminar on Sunday, January 14th, when he introduced the PPC model: pause, prayer, and choose, an invaluable tool for navigating communication challenges. Oliver stressed the importance of taking a moment to pause before responding, seeking guidance through prayer, and then choosing a response that aligned with grace and understanding. This model serves as a practical guide for couples and individuals seeking to enhance the quality of their interactions. A key takeaway from the seminar was Dr. Oliver's emphasis on living within the circle of control. He reminded couples and singles alike that while external circumstances may be beyond our control, our responses to them are well within our grasp. By mastering this circle of control, individuals can cultivate healthy relationships by choosing thoughtful and intentional responses to one another. As the South Bahamas Conference continues its mission to strengthen families, Dr. Oliver's teachings will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on those who attended, creating a ripple effect of positive change within households and communities alike. The youth and young adults from across the South Bahamas Conference gathered at the Living Faith SDA Church for the 6th annual A-Class, Adventist Certification and Leadership Assessment. The A-Class took place on Friday and Sabbath, January 12th and 13th, 2024. The leaders participated in seminars on youth culture, needs and desires by presenters Shante Deal, Bradley McPhee Jr., Noelicia, and Gerard Ferguson. The theme for the weekend was Against Culture. The youth were challenged to go against the culture of secularism affecting families, marriages, and relationships in 2024. The climax of the A class was a group therapy session with guest presenter Harrison Thompson. Mr. Thompson answered questions submitted by youth anonymously on singleness and dating, therapy and trauma, sex and marriage, and parental relationships. He challenged youth to be forgiving and respond differently to their traumas with the knowledge available to them today to live against culture. After this break, we will have more on what's coming up in the South Bahamas Conference.
I don't know if you're like me, but I've been picked on, I've been ridiculed, I've been made to feel like I was less than what I am. But when I view God as an artist, it makes me feel better about who He's created me to be. Now, the value of an artist's masterpiece is appraised in 3 different ways. 1, the time that the artist takes in order to create that masterpiece. In other words, if an artist takes 3 months to create something, it's worth more than if it took 3 days to create something else. Also, if the artist has any duplicates or copies of that particular piece of work. And if the reputation of the artist is great, then whatever that artist creates is also great. Now, what's beautiful about this is that God took His time to create man. The Bible tells us that He spoke everything else into existence, but He formed man of the dust of the ground. Also, there are no duplicates of you. You are the only one of you that God has made. And God has an amazing reputation. Now, this is wonderful because that means that the value of a masterpiece is not based on the condition that it's found in. It's based on the reputation of the artist. That means that if a masterpiece is found tattered or even torn, it still has value because of the artist who created it. And even if other people don't appraise it as being highly valuable, it will still mean the world to the artist. You still mean the world to God. You are God's masterpiece.
And coming up in the South Bahamas Conference. Convention for the South Bahamas Conference begins this weekend on January 19th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the William Thompson Auditorium under the theme Commissioned for Mission. Our guest speaker will be Pastor Stephen Gates of the Southeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Convention continues on Sabbath at 9:15 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. The convention will conclude on Sunday, January 21st at 9 a.m. at the Hillview Church. All individuals who attended the evangelism and discipleship training with Dr. Peter Ronfeld are asked to be present during the convention's Sabbath afternoon service for a special presentation. A law enforcement service for all law enforcement officers, civil servants, and public officers will be held on February 10th at the Hillview Church during the Divine Hour. Feel free to visit the South Bahamas Conference website at southbahamasconference.org to receive more information on all our upcoming conference events. There, you can also view a rebroadcast of our Adventist news updates, along with other local programming from our cable channel ATV 658. Read the weekly logos, as well as the Adventist page from the Nassau Guardian.
Prediabetes is defined by higher than normal blood sugar after eating or fasting. This is oftentimes a result of insulin resistance. Persons with prediabetes are at risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. More than 80% of persons who are prediabetic do not know that they are. Early detection and intervention with lifestyle changes can prevent or delay type 2 diabetes and other illnesses. Number 1. Eat more fiber-rich foods such as beans, legumes, and whole grains. This helps you to avoid overeating and the crash of consuming high-sugar foods. 2. Be careful with portion sizes. Make more space on your plate for complex carbs and vegetables and be wary of consuming simple sugars. 3. Consume a healthy amount of water daily. And 4. Get up and go. exercise is very important to keeping the body healthy and causes the body to convert sugar into energy. This has been Michelle Green with your health tip, courtesy of Adventist Television. And remember, God wants us to prosper and be in good health.
Let's go now to the Adventist News Network with our news feature from around the world.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in Mexico experienced growth through a major 6-month outreach, welcoming more than 21,000 new members. The campaign culminated in a national online evangelism series in Mexico City themed, "Don't Give Up, There Is Still Hope." The 8-day series encouraged attendees and viewers to cling to Jesus in times of fear, doubt, stress, pain, and uncertainty. Among those being baptized were Shen Zhui and Jim Feg Chen. They were among the first to be baptized in a new congregation serving the Chinese community in Mexico City. The evangelism project was successful thanks to dedicated members and leaders, including children, teenagers, and youth who participated in community cleanup and outreach activities. In addition, medical brigades and health expos were organized to serve the public. Homes, schools, and even some hospitals became centers of hope. For the event's keynote speaker, Pastor Daniel Torreblanca, Director of Youth Ministries for the Adventist Church in the Chiapas region, it was important to reach people who are struggling with depression, anxiety, and societal conflicts. Torreblanca attributed the success of the campaign to the work of God through His Holy Spirit.
Well, that's it from our Adventist news from the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. To share what is happening at your church, please email your news stories and upcoming events to sbcadventistnews@gmail.com. To view a rebroadcast of the Adventist news along with other programming and to keep in touch with what's happening in our conference, visit our website at southbahamasconference.org. The SBC Media Network's Facebook and Instagram pages are filled with lots of materials from the Communications Department, so you would want to check those out. And remember to subscribe, like, follow, and share. You can watch and listen to our programs from our radio station, Word SBC 88.3 FM, and our Adventist television channel, ATV 658, and get updates, insights, and first-hand information from the SBC Media Network as it happens. The programming from ATV 658 can also be viewed on the South Bahamas Conference YouTube channel. So feel free to watch a recap of our Adventist news. On behalf of our production team, it was our pleasure to bring you tonight's news update. I'm Tamika Fox for SBC Media Network. Have a happy Sabbath.